So... do you have a name?
2-Bit, you know I can't give you my real name. But I don't know, what do I sound like to you? Maybe a Charles or a George. What do you think?
I don't know, man. Although you are in charge, Charles really doesn't fit, and George reminds me of George Lucas, and too many bad memories there. You just kind of feel like a Mr. X to me.
Mr. X? Yeah, I kind of like that. Mr. X. Look, 2-Bit, I don't want us to be enemies. I think this whole thing is going to work a hell of a lot better if we just work together.
Kinda hard to get on board after, kidnapped me. You had a shock bracelet on me. You make me shit in a bucket and then eat out of it. And then let's not mention the fact that you gas me daily. I mean, no telling what that's doing to my health.
I get that. I do. But you don't understand. I have good reasons for doing what I do. And I only knock you out so that I can come in there and take care of you. I feed you, I empty your bucket, I clean you.
You clean me? Guess that explains the new clothes. Just forget about that. Why are we doing this? I just want to know. Why the reviews? Please tell me.
Okay. Look, I wasn't a popular child. And my parents, they didn't really raise me in what could be considered a normal household. The only thing I had was games. Games were my friends. Games were my parents. And I need to remember those times. Before the social workers. Before the foster homes. Before the fire. Look, I'm taking good care of you, and I haven't touched your family. And I won't, as long as you cooperate with me. What do you say?
Oh my god, I'm sorry, Mr. X. Man, I get it. My childhood wasn't great either. I remember one time my NES was stolen.
Oh my god, that's terrible, 2-Bit. I'm so sorry for you.
It's okay. My cousin let me borrow his NES, and I got to play this awesome game called Cabal. It just goes to show you that while bad things may happen, people ultimately are good.
Okay, 2-Bit. I think I know what we can do. Cabal is a third-person shooter released in 1988. The arcade version was published by Taito Fabtech and developed by Tad Corp. It was released for various home computers of the day like the Commodore 64 and Amiga. The NES got a port as well, and it was published by Milton Bradley and developed by Rare. Cabal holds a special place in gaming history as it was a pioneer and set standards for the third-person shooter genre of games, and it made this game stand out back in the 80s. As there were not many games like it in that era. With these tidbits out of the way, let's shoot to the review.
The controls are very simple. You move your character and crosshair with the D-pad. Pressing down will make your character kneel. You hold A to shoot your rifle, A plus up to throw grenades. Holding B will make you run, and a cool trick to avoid getting hit by enemy fire is to hit down plus left or right while running. Your character will do a somersault. This trick can save your butt in some tricky situations. There are 5 levels in Cabal. Each level has 4 stages. The objective in each stage is to cause mass destruction on the environment and destroy all enemy combatants. That's right, we don't negotiate with terrorists, or the civilian populations that stand between us and them. You have your basic enemy soldiers running across the screen, taking pot shots at you, or throwing a grenade. Their challenge is in numbers. Don't let too many of them fill the screen, or you will be overrun. Thankfully, each stage gives you cover, but be warned, just as you can obliterate the enemy's buildings and cover, they can do the same to yours. There are trucks in Cabal that I actually don't know what their function is. I never saw them attack me or drop off soldiers. They're just there to shoot at, I guess. Other vehicular enemies are tanks, bombers, and helicopters. These enemies take their time to attack, so take them out before they go on the attack, or just stay clear of their attack path. One enemy soldier I forgot to mention is this gray soldier. He has the same attacks as the basic green soldier, except he will use what appears to be years of dance and ballet lessons to dodge your attacks, making it very difficult to take him out.
I hate this guy. Why won't he just die?
So you think the guy's a jackass for wanting to live?
As a matter of fact, I do. We would have had this level beaten already if it wasn't for Sir Prancelot.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Sir Prancelot's insatiable lust for life, you wouldn't be so inconvenienced.
Exactly. Speaking of prancing, when you complete a stage, you're treated to a very celebratory and cheerful song with your soldiers dancing toward the horizon after their session of death and total destruction in the stage.
Okay? Alright. Well, Mr. X, let's just get back to this review. The difficulty in each stage is very inconsistent. One stage will have you swamped with enemies, while the next stage will be a light pacing of enemies. The same could be said of the bosses. Level 1 has you face a bomber helicopter with a basic and easily avoidable attack. Naturally, Level 2's boss is much harder with the submarine, which is much faster, stronger, and submerges underwater to avoid your attacks. Then Level 3's boss is a truck that drops cannons off to attack you. All you have to do is take these cannons out. The truck has no attacks besides dropping off cannons. There is no challenge here. It almost seems like the development team was like, boy, Level 2 sure was a challenge, let's give them a freebie in Level 3. They at least could have had a guy shooting at you from the truck to give you a tough time as you try taking out the cannons. Level 4 has a slightly more challenging boss in the form of 3 huge turrets, but a spamming grenade attack takes care of them fairly easily. Level's 5 boss is definitely the toughest, as it's a giant turret with 5 smaller regenerating turrets. Just keep knocking out the smaller turrets and victory is yours. All in all, everything comes together giving a solid experience, minus the inconsistent difficulty. Gameplay gets 2 bits.
Get to the chopper!
Out of 4. Cabal doesn't have too much to it as far as sound is concerned. Your gun sounds honestly like a muffled typewriter. Thankfully, the rest of the sounds deliver a bit more, like when you pick up the power-up for your gun, it has a very empowering sound to it. The grenades and bombs in the game have that classic explosion sound that I've always loved on the NES. You get the same exact song in all 5 levels. You only get a break from it at the completion of a level or a boss fight. Now, the boss fight songs fit very well with the action, and overall, I believe they're very well done. Cabal's sound and music are on par, but nothing really special or stupendous. I give Cabal's sound 1 bit.
Get to the chopper!
Out of 4. Let's get right to it. Does Cabal on the NES look as good as the arcade original? No, but it looks pretty darn close enough for an 8-bit version. All the sprites look good and are well proportioned to the stages, which was a problem with some arcade ports in this era, where you would get a game with much smaller characters compared to the environment, or vice versa. For an example, check out my excellent Smash TV review. Well, finish watching this review first, then go check that one out. All 5 levels look very diverse, and I never felt besides the enemies that I was seeing the same level over and over again. One drawback is when there are a lot of sprites on the screen, the enemies will start having graphical glitches, some even disappearing completely. But this only lasts for a second or two and doesn't affect the overall experience, minus an uncommon cheap death from one of these disappearing enemies. Cabal takes place in a Vietnam-esque setting. The story, according to the manual, is that DRAT, which stands for Dreaded Republic of Allied Terrorists, hey wait, DRAT! I hate those guys!
Come on, 2-Bit, they can't be that bad. I mean, they are an allied republic, so at least they give all of their members equal representation on who they should terrorize.
DRAT is planning a worldwide assault, so the World Affairs Council has sent you, the Blue Commando, and Red Commando, if you're player 2, to their training camp on a secluded island.
Dreaded Republican Allied Terrorists? A World Affairs Council? This is turning into the bad first draft of a Schwarzenegger movie.
Fuck you.
Once you reach the end of level 5, you finally achieve complete victory over the dratted Drats.
You seriously went there?
Yes, I did. You get a static end scene where your commander congratulates you on defeating the terrorists and tells you to return to HQ for your next mission. I smell a sequel!
Wait, where am I?
probably flying the helicopter.
This is bullcrap. I fought through all 5 levels alongside you. I deserve some credit too. Was it that hard to put a red commando across from the blue one in the static screen, Taito? Unbelievable.
Hey, we gotta put our initials in for our scores, so you're gonna get some credit.
Oh, I got an initial for him.
Oh, hey, how rude! So in summation, with a faithful port of the arcade's aesthetic and overall graphics, with the Schwarzenegger-esque plot minus the graphical glitches from the console slowdown, presentation gets 2 bits.
Get to the chopper!
Out of 4.
Cabal is a solid NES title, definitely worth a play. That said, it does have some issues, like the instances where there are too many enemies on the screen and some go invisible but are still there and can cause a cheap death from the game. Or the fact that the difficulty is very inconsistent in the stages. It just feels strange as the basic game design in the 3rd generation of games was usually the difficulty gets harder as you progress, not that it goes up and down throughout the game. But I feel this doesn't take away from the overall experience, so my final verdict for Cabal on the NES is a must-play and buy for the casual and hardcore collector of the NES. You can find it online for about $8 or less. Well guys, thanks for watching, and that was the review.
So 2-Bit, did that review help? Did it make you feel any better?
Yeah, I guess. Thanks. You know, you're not such a bad guy after all. How about you tell me about what happened in that fire?
I remember the flames. They burned so hot that they dried the tears even as they fell from my eyes. I screamed for help. They were trapped inside and I screamed for someone to help. But by the time the flames were put out by the firefighters, it was too late. I couldn't save them.
Wow, that's terrible. I'm so sorry you had to go through that, but it wasn't your fault.
It is my fault. I should have saved them. But I forgot to grab the box before I set the fire.
The box? What about your family, your parents?
You see, I put all my games into a box and set it by the front door. But the gas burned so quickly I didn't have time. I forgot to get the box. In my rush to escape, I forgot to grab it. And they all died. Every game I had, everyone I loved died in that fire. The only good thing about that day was hearing the screams coming from the upstairs bedroom. Over the years, as I slowly rebuilt my collection, it was only the memory of those screams that made me smile.
Holy cannoli, you're a goddamn monster! And to think I thought there might be some good in you! I'm never gonna do another 2-player review with you again! You're gonna have to kill me first, you fucking insane prick!
2-Bit, I'm hurt. Really, here I was thinking that we were starting to connect, that you had started to understand why I have to keep you here. Oh well, I guess I'll just have to do what must be done. Just like I always do.
Not again!
Stay safe and play on.